Got to speak into it. All right. So I am Tim Peck. I'm running for U.S. Congress to represent everybody in this room and every Hoosier who doesn't have a voice, who doesn't feel seen right now, because the people who are representing them don't necessarily look like them. They don't speak like them. They aren't representing you as a community. We are going to win this race. And the reason we're going to win this race is because our ticket is strong from top to bottom. And we have how many candidates? 7 candidates here? 7 House District candidates who are talented, who are compassionate, who are smart, and who are dedicated to looking at all of you, hearing what you have to say, and representing you in the State House. Because they're just like you. You know, they too had to pay more property taxes these last 2 years than they ever have. You know, they too struggle to put food on the table. They too have farms and they care about their environment, and they too want practical ways to save our environment, including practical ways to look at solar power and land use and land rights. And they too want their schools to be safe, their communities to be safe, and to invest in EMS, to invest in police, to invest in fire. And what I really want to say today is that they too want to get their right back to vote. A right that has been stripped from every person in this room. So let me hear me out on that, how you lost your right to vote. So we know that Roe versus Wade got overturned, and abortion rights got sent back to the states for the will of the people to take hold. And when that happened, what happened? Ohio, many other states, and our neighbor Ohio got to have their voice heard. They had a ballot initiative in which it was voted on, and Ohio, this red state, said, we want abortion rights and they have full access. Meanwhile, right here in Indiana, 64% of the people want the same thing, want full access to abortion rights. And that includes rural areas. That includes right here in District 9, was actually a little bit higher. And instead of getting ballot access, what we have is a supermajority in the House of Republicans that are blocking the ability to put ballot access on in our elections. And so the will of the people cannot be heard. And so when you hear Republicans talking about, let's send it back to the states so we can have the will of the people be heard, that's not happening here in Indiana. And the only way that we can make that happen is to vote in this election and put these people back in the State House. You know, I live just down the road in New Washington on a 40-acre farm, and I come here to Scott County all the time. I shop here. My family shops here and eats here. I have had way too many slices of Chicago-style pizza, too much Zesto. I get peanut butter shake with extra peanut butter. They know me, and I'm a Y member because of it. So. You know, I too understand this community. I too live in this community. And I too have seen how opioids have ravaged this community, and fentanyl. Spoken to a lot of people who have lost a lot of first-degree relatives, very emotional stories. And I'm an emergency physician. I've had to hold the hand of a lot of parents who have lost their children. And I've had to treat people who we couldn't save because of the opioid epidemic. What I want to point out there is that there is federal money to be able to fight the opioid epidemic that was voted on in Congress. And my opponent, who's from right here and has seen how bad this problem has affected our community, voted against bringing that federal money here. She's on the wrong side of that issue. If you'd like to see that bill and her vote, she was one of 30 people in all of Congress to do it. And so what we need is a systematic way to fix the opioid process. We need a doctor in Congress who understands it, who understands public health, mental health access, and of course housing too. So we have the power to make change. We have the power to vote. We have these incredibly smart, compassionate people behind me who are just about to come up. And you're going to hear about what they want to do to represent you. And one thing that you'll hear about is the Republican supermajority. You'll hear a lot about that, and would really ask you to really hone in when they start talking about that, what that means. The effect of Republicans having a full supermajority in the House means that anybody, Democrats or Republicans, when there's one party rule, you often see corruption. And what we've had is one party rule for a long time that's led to corruption. And what it's led to is that right down the street in this jail is Jamie Knoll, who has taken money from me as a taxpayer in Clark County, who's taken money from others and infused it into the Republican Party so they could keep winning. All of those candidates are getting money to be able to keep winning. The only way we can stop that is by voting these people in, getting out, knocking on doors with canvassing season, bringing other people with you, telling them that we're on the right side of the issues, and inspiring people to vote. So if you want your life to be different, if you want your community to thrive, then we need people like this who are willing to work across the aisle. We need to break this supermajority, and these are the people who will do it. Thank you.